Hi. So I hope that you are doing well. I hope that today, the rest of the night, is awesome for you. I hope you do at least one thing that makes you feel amazing because you deserve to. I hope that no matter what you've experienced today, that you are able to get to a point where you let it go and have faith that the best case scenario is going to occur as far as whatever that thing is. I hope that you are at least open to all of the possibilities that can go right, and not just focusing on the things that could go wrong. Um, Overall, I'm just hoping that you're well, and let's get into it. Okay, so this is just a reminder for us all: take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Okay. Some of the key reasons it can feel hard to experience peace and connection in life: conditioning, the way that we've been programmed and conditioned, right? If you grew up in a household where people were not trying to experience joy, peace, fun, or where it wasn't a priority, or where compassion wasn't a priority, or holding space for other people to process their emotions healthily wasn't a priority. If you grew up in a household where you did not really witness people connecting deeply with one another, or just really prioritizing friendship or friendship parent guardianship balance, then you better believe that your subconscious mind and you were programmed and conditioned to operate similarly. Okay. If a child grows up in a house where everybody's telling them that the color pink is actually blue, even though the color pink is pink, because the child is growing up in a house where everybody is saying otherwise, that child is going to be affected by that. Luckily, the things that you are taught and the things that you learn and how you are programmed can be unlearned. And you are always free to take on a different program, if you will. That child, even though they've been affected by that, when they learn the truth and that pink is actually pink, they are then able to, of course, they're going to go through that little period of like accidentally calling pink blue for quite some time. Duh, that's just, we're human. It's going to happen. But at some point, with practice and understanding, they are going to eventually call pink pink, regardless of their programming. Okay. So regardless of how we've been conditioned and programmed, the more that we practice following our heart and practicing things that actually help us to show up the way that feels true for us individually, the more that you reprogram yourself to operate like me, nope. To operate like Susie down the street, nope. To operate like your best friend, nope. To operate the way that feels true for you, regardless of what anyone has to say about it. Okay? So some of the key reasons it can feel hard to experience peace and connection in life is the way we've been programmed and conditioned to operate. Also, another thing is not many people around you in your life might be attempting to prioritize peace, right? So just because you've woken up to the desire to experience more peace and love and connection and joy doesn't mean that your partner is. It doesn't mean that your parents are. It doesn't mean that your best friends have woken up to that desire. They might not give a crap about it, right? They might actually think you're a little bit weird for focusing on it, right? It could be so many different dynamics. You might have some people who are supportive and who actually are excited about this journey as well, because I assure you, it is a whole different life than any life you were experiencing before. The moment you start to make peace and joy and love and talking to yourself with more respect and speaking to yourself more kindly, the more that you make that a priority, the more that your life is going to transform and shift in ways that blow your mind. And you will start to experience relationships, friendships, and just life in a whole different way than before, right? So some of the things that can make it hard to really commit to that can be that many people around you are not focusing on that, right? So it might make us feel like, well, I feel lonely, or I feel alone on this path. And so it's like, is it even worth it? It is. Okay, it is. And the cool thing about life is the more you focus your attention on the things that matter to you, the more that other people come into your life that are like, hey, that matters to me too. Right. But it's hard for those other people to come into your life if you're not focusing on the things that you love. You can't meet that person who ends up being your best friend for 50 years. You can't meet that person in spin class if you're not accepting that spin class matters to you and that you love going to spin class. Then you're not going to meet the people who also love spin class. Similarly, you're not going to meet the people who are prioritizing peace, compassion, love, and empowerment and creativity and transformation if you are not giving yourself permission to focus on that yourself. So the more you focus on what matters to you, whether it's out loud or in the privacy of your own home silently, not even posting about it at all, but the more you focus your attention on the things that matter to you, the more that people will you create your tribe by being yourself. You are being yourself when you are doing, speaking, acting from, and giving your attention to the things that matter to you genuinely. Okay. So, yes, it can feel difficult to prioritize peace and connection and parenting from peace when we don't feel we have a lot of people around us that are supportive of that, or who are also on attempting to do the same thing. But that changes over time, because the more that you focus on it, the more you will meet other people who are as well. Okay. And also, number three, sometimes it can feel hard to experience peace and connection in life with our children, ourselves, and others, is because it can feel easier to just give, sometimes, just to be real, it can feel easier to just give in to old patterns and just deal with the shame and guilt of it all once we're done, because we've done it for so long, right? The suffering becomes normal. Sometimes it's like, yes, I could pause and self-regulate right now, but I could also just flip out and just scare my child and make them stop doing what I want them to stop doing right now too. I could self-regulate and use a game plan right now to ground myself, but I could also just hit my child who's 5 years old. I could also just hit them with a belt real quick, or hit them with my hand, and that'll shut them up real quick too. Yes, I'll feel shame. Yes, I'll feel guilt. Yes, I'll feel crappy about it. But I've felt the shame. I felt the crappiness for so long. It is what it is. Whatever, right? So another reason why it can feel hard to experience peace and connection in life is because um, sometimes it can just feel easier to just give in to old patterns and just deal with the shame and guilt of it all, because the suffering has become normal, right? Until you get to a point where you refuse. You will get to a point where you refuse to give in to the old patterns. You refuse, you refuse, you refuse. Not because you feel like you're a better parent or a better person when you don't give in to those patterns, but because by grace, there will be an understanding that occurs within you where you start to really see the power you hold, and that you start to experience firsthand that you actually genuinely love, more than anything, not giving in to those old patterns and habits that are unconscious and outdated, and that you didn't really even consciously ask to take on, right? So stop thinking you're alone, because you're not. Stop focusing on who is with you and start showing who is with you on your journey. Stop thinking that you're not supported, and instead start showing up the way that feels true for you. Start focusing on what lights you up and makes you feel happy and joyful every day. Start focusing on what you want to do, how you want to show up. Start focusing on the type of relationships you want to create. Start focusing on what you want. Start focusing on your intentions and your goals. Stop thinking you're alone. Stop thinking that you're not supported. You are. You are not alone, and you are supported. Instead, focus investing your time and your energy on focusing on showing up as your favorite version of yourself, right? And in a way that feels true for you, so that those meant to come into your life that are a match to your favorite version of yourself can show up. Okay. Stop shrinking to appease others or to make other people comfortable. You're happy, you're joyful, somebody comes into your life and they're like, oh, I just want to complain about work right now. Is that okay? Right? And Whereas you know that complaining and whining feels really icky to you, and you would rather feel grateful for your job and continue with your day and go home in a happy mood. Like, whereas in the past you might have been like, you know what, let's just complain let's have a 30-minute complaint session about life, our job, and all these things, right? Whereas in the past, you would have ignored the fact that you don't want to complain just so that you could appease Sally at work. Give yourself permission to stop shrinking and to just appease other people. Give yourself permission to stop dimming your light and to give yourself permission to stop disempowering yourself. Give yourself permission to stop feeling ridiculously grateful and blessed just to appease other people. Okay? Aim high and let other people meet you there. Choose peace, love, gratitude. Choose yourself is what I'm talking about here. Choose yourself. Choose seeing things from a perspective that uplifts and empowers you, and let other people meet you there. Don't choose it for any other reason other than you are worthy of experiencing joy, peace, and empowerment 24/7. You are worthy of experiencing upliftment and happiness and joy all day long. Oh, Michelle, I thought you said this was not about feeling peace 24/7 or being positive 24/7. It's not. You are worthy of peace and joy 24/7. Will there be moments that you feel negative emotion? Yes. And that'll be a perfect time for you to show yourself compassion and love and kindness, which are all things you're worthy of. What? 24/7. Okay? Also, I wanted to remind us, please forgive yourself of everything. Well, Michelle, what do you mean everything? Everything. Every single thing. Please give yourself permission to forgive yourself right now of everything. Of all of the times that you have abandoned yourself to please others. Of all of the times that you have given into old patterns that no longer resonate with you. Forgive yourself of people pleasing. Forgive yourself of codependency, needing other people to be a certain way in order for you to be happy. Give yourself permission to forgive yourself right here in this moment, because you are always worthy of your forgiveness, and every now moment is a blank slate, and it's an opportunity for you to move onward the way that feels true for you, regardless of what's happened in the past. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to share is watch, read, and hang out with other people who think peace and love actually matter. Give yourself permission to do that, okay? Give yourself permission to watch things and read things and hang out with people who uplift and empower you, or who are supportive and who feel good for you to be around, feel good for your mental health. Do not settle for conversations and connections that you would not want your child to settle for. Conversations and connections are things you get to choose and create. You get to choose who you give your time and energy and attention to. You get to choose who you communicate and have conversations with. Choose wisely. For what you give your attention and your time to, you will continue to amplify, and you will continue to create more and more of it in your life. And if you want to witness the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years of your life be something that's magical, awesome, and feels amazing, and is full of abundance, joy, happiness, and just amazing connections, then give your time and attention to that now. Okay? You create the future by what you are giving your time and attention to now. If you give your time and attention to gossiping, people pleasing, and abandoning yourself and not following your heart, if that's what you give your time and attention to right now, that is what's going to play a role in what you experience in the future. Okay? Sending tons and tons of love. You guys are amazing. Keep shining, keep going. Remember that treat everything I say as like, take it with the tiniest of grain of salt, and only take from every message. It could just be one sentence. It could be just 2 words. Take that. Whatever it is that really stands out in anything you read or hear, take that and find a way to apply it to your life. Sending you tons of love. Have a great day.